Gentlemen, this is Bob with Bob Leatherworks in Raleigh, North Carolina. What I'm going to do in this video today is show you two things about accessories that I make for lever action rifles and rifles in general for butt covers. Now this is a follow-up video on the first one I made using Marlin 336As, where I made three of them, one for a rifle I had in the shop and two stocks that were sent to me. A father and a son both have 336As, and I made a video about how I made those stocks and put them on the rifle butts, but I didn't go through how to do it. I'm planning on making these without having you to send me the stock, if in fact I have it in the shop, and I've just gotten a few more stocks. I've gotten a Remington 870 with the butt pad on it. I have a Ruger 77, which comes in a lot of calibers. That's a bolt action stock, bolt action rifle. There's no cheek pad on it, and the stock from Ruger is very much the same from rifle to rifle. So that again is the Ruger 77. I have a Winchester 1894. This particular stock was sent to me by the owner of the rifle, so I don't have the whole rifle, I just have his stock. And I made this one for him with his initials on it, BR. There's my stamp right under his initials, and on the back side I'm starting to put American flags on most everything I make now, if there's a space for it, and it looks okay right there. There's an American flag stamp. You can see, of course, it's a Marlin. There's his sling swivel stud. And what I'm going to do is go through and start putting this on to show you how it goes, and then I'll finish it up and come back when it's finished and explain to you a couple of things, one of which I'll say now. This stock turned out to be thinner. Let me take the cover off. A little bit thinner than is an 1894 pre-64 stock. This just happens to be a bit thinner, and as a result of that, when I got the stock, okay, what I did was, this is the pattern for making these butt covers. See all the notes I have on here about what rifles it's good for. Marlin 336, 1894 levers. I haven't written 1895 on here, I don't believe. But this is the pattern for cutting out the basic piece of leather, where to put the holes, how many rounds you can get on for 45-70s, and so on and so forth. So it for custom fitting, it's best, and I say again best, to take your stock off your rifle and send it to me. That way when it comes back to you, it will be on there. If you want to take it on faith and just call me and order one of these for your rifle, and I feel that I can cut it, make it, and you can put it on, then I'll do that. But sending me the stock obviously does not require an FFL, and if you send it in a good box, then I'll have it, and then I can fit it properly to your rifle's buttstock. This is an 1895 Marlin 357. I was able to get 7 loops on here. I just start sewing from here, work my way back to here, and when I think I'm just about gonna run out of room for loops, then I finish it off with sewing right here. So I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to set up how to put this on the rifle, and then I'll be back and show you again how to lace it up. So here comes a pause. Okay, we are back. Now, what I have done is taken this, this is Latigo lace, more specifically known as Utah lace, which is very grabby, very strong stuff. It's made from oil tanned hide, and it doesn't tear or stretch that much, if at all. And I have laced it through the back holes, toward the back of the rifle, and I have it right now smooth side down, rough side up, flesh side up, F-L-E-S-H, flesh side up from the leather, and I have run it through so that there are equal lengths from both sides coming out. So when you would put a pull on this, which I cannot get into the way I have the camera set, you will have equal lengths. I can't put everything in here, but there are equal lengths of the Latigo coming out. Now, you're going to fit it on here, hold it on here, okay? And the very first stitch, depending upon whichever way you start, okay, is how you want to repeat. So this is coming again from underneath, and then it's going to turn and go under, and I have tapered the ends of the lace with a knife or a scissor, whichever you've got, and you get one going, and then the other one goes underneath. Okay. However you get it started, there's the point coming out, and then you're going to turn it, making sure, okay, that you now have, let me get this properly set so you can see it. Okay. Okay. So we have established an under-over pattern, and you're going to be pushing, pulling, snugging this on, okay, till you get it nice and firm, because you don't want to waste any more time going back and forth, undoing it and redoing it. But if you get that pull and that squeak, you do not want to use any pliers for damaging the Latigo, and I think you can hear the squeaking going on. So here we go. That's the first stitch, or the first lace, whatever you want to call it, lacing, stitching. I guess lacing is better. So let's bring it up to the camera where you can really see it. That's how you start. So I'm going to take another pause, go forward a little bit more, about halfway, and then I'll come back to show you how I've progressed. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I have now gotten all the stitching or the lacing in. I'm going to call it lacing, not stitching. Calling the lacing, get tongue-tied when you make videos. Got all the lacing in up to the last hole. Still have to do that one. But what I wanted to show you is that I have it even, and I have the under and over the same going down. I started with this one under, so this one's under, this one's under, this one's under, over, 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 over. Got around the sling swivel stud comfortably. Okay, plenty of room to put the Uncle Mike's or whatever type you've got back in the hole with the adjuster or the tightener on it. And there's the Marlin button, of course. And I have snugged this up with my fingers. I did not use the pliers. This is on here nice and firm. On the back you will see that the overlap that's in here, okay, is properly centered on the top portion of the stock. Same on the bottom as it comes around. And you go. Okay. And also to tell you a little bit about how these are constructed. This is overlapping on this side because the gentleman is right-handed, so it forms a cheek pad on here. Comes over here. This portion is hand sewn because it's already glued down, and I use my sewing machine to run these holes when it's unthreaded. So the sewing machine punches these holes, then I go back with the Dremel and I run through to the opposite side, and then once I've got a hole all the way through, from here to here, this is hand sewn. Okay. Keeps the spacing looking like it's machine sewn, but it's not. And then the sewing that goes all the way around the outer edges, because this is only one layer of leather, forms a strength on the edges. Okay. So when you're pulling down on this, it pushes back against the punched out holes. These are 5 30-second punched out holes to accommodate this Utah lace. So now I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll come back and show it to you finished up with a square knot down here and some of the excess cut away, and I'll put some 357 or 38 rounds I have here, 38 rounds, and then I have all of the stocks that I have in the shop so far, and I'll pass those in front of the camera and let you know what I have on hand. Okay, to make a decision about whether you would want to send me your stock or not, to have me make a butt cover for you. So hang on for another quick pause, and there's where we are so far. Be right back. Okay, we are back. So here is the finished installation, and what I wanted to show you is that this again is the over under, and came down here and made a single tight square knot, and I left this portion of the excess on. This is what I cut off from each one, these two lengths right here. Okay. So you get, when you're putting this on yourself, you'll have a piece much longer than you need to work with. Okay. And these of course could move a little bit if you pushed them on hard, but they are grabbing onto each other as they cross. These are 38 rounds, just brass and lead. They're green box Remington so the grain on that one. Here they are. These are 38 special 158 grain lead round nose. That's what they are. There's the label right there. Okay. So there is your finished installation. If you send me your stock, it'll come back to you all ready to go without the bullets in it, of course, and your initials will be on here and my stamp. Either way, your initials will be on there. And again, I had to trim back about maybe 3/16 of an inch on the overall pattern. When I first cut it, when I dampened it and laid it on the rifle, I discovered that if I hadn't have done what I did by trimming off some of the leather this length, it would have been a little tighter, might have come right up to the swivel stud, so I decided to cut it back a little bit. Now, let me set this aside for a moment, okay, and show you the other stocks that I have in my shop, to give you an idea. They're on the floor, so I'm reaching down. This is a New England firearm single shot 12 gauge. This is a big stock, big butt, much bigger than the other one. And let me get a Marlin 336 up here. Give you a slight example. Well, this one here, as I see it right now, this is the old style. Let me get the New England firearms one out of the way. This is the older Marlin 336 and the 39A22. If you have an older one from the 60s and the 70s, you may very well have a big thick stock on the back of yours. Okay. If you want to call me, I can measure this and compare it to your rifle, and then we'll know, or yes, I've got an old one, it's that thick, I might not need your stock to make a butt cover for it. They don't do this anymore on the new Marlin 336As. They don't have all this extra pieces on here. It's just form fitted. They took away the slot that's right here where the heel of your hand goes, in here on your palm, right there like that. They don't have those anymore, but on the old stocks, of course, they do. Okay. If you're right-handed or left-handed, that's important. If you're going to be holding her with your left hand, okay, then you want your bullets, okay, over on the other side, okay, up on your cheek. That's right-handed. Okay. Your bullets would be here, in here, okay, and your cheek would be here. Vice versa for left. Your bullets would be here, your cheek would be here. Okay. So there you go. Marlin 336A, or 336 in general, 30 caliber lever action rifle, or a 39A22. Okay, the next stock I have is, this is a a Remington 870. Okay. And this was a fancier stock, but it's cracked, so I got it from a friend, and there it is. Okay. This one's got checkering on it, which looks like it might have been pressed in. Okay. But these 870s come with these pads on them, whether you've got a new one or an old one. So, got to know the dimensions on your stocks, if in fact you're not going to send it to me. And here comes one more. Okay. This is a Winchester 97. There's your big pistol grip on the wrist. That. This one's got cracks all over it. This is an old stock. Happens to have a Remington butt plate on it, which confused me when I first got it, but when I saw this I went, nope, that's a 97. So this is the 1897 Winchester. Long, different shape. Okay. So I could put a lot of 12 gauge rounds on here, probably 7 or 8 over on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, possibly 8, probably 7. On a butt pad for your 1897. Excuse me, butt cover for your 1897. And the last one that I have in the house is this Ruger coming through, because everything's all one piece. This is a Ruger 77. Okay. With her butt pad on there. And let me turn it around, hit the light while I'm doing it. Here we go. Okay. You might recognize this color, this burnt orange colored smooth butt pad on this Ruger 77. Let's turn it around so you can read the label a little bit better. Try not to hit anything again. There we go. There's the Ruger 77. Comes in a lot of calibers. Okay. And also, if you've got an odd caliber and I don't have the rounds, Okay, I'd appreciate you sending me some spent brass or live round in the mail so I can use it to make the bullet loops. That's the stocks I have in hand. Okay. So knock into everything while we're making the video. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, and take a pause for a minute, is talk about lever wraps. Okay, there it is right there. Now, hang on, I'm going to reset this shot, make it a little tighter so it's easier to show you what I'm doing, and I'll be right back after this quick pause. Okay, I am back, and here is a Winchester 1894 lever out of the rifle with a laced on lever wrap. Okay, and this tie right here is both functional and decorative, and I'm going to show you why. Okay. These come in kits, and before I show you that, let me show you a couple of things about the kit, and then I'll come back to showing you what's underneath that tie. When you get a kit, okay, you are going to get things right for the camera. You're going to get a document from me with photographs, that instructions on how to lace a leather wrap onto your rifle's lever. So you're going to get pictures, and now you're going to have this video of the step-by-step of how to do it. So you get 6, 7, 8 pictures. And here are the pieces and the parts. Here is the wrap itself. All the holes are pre-punched. This is the flesh side of this. This is high-end upholstery leather. Okay? Good stuff, made from real cows. I put an extra piece of material down the middle, glued on, okay, which is going to wind up against the bottom of, the inside, not the bottom, the inside of your lever wrap. This piece of material is in here, on the inside. Okay. You are going to get your long piece here to make this, this finishing tie or knot, whatever we want to call it. And you're going to get a long length of wax thread and 2 blunt tipped, not pointed, but blunt tipped needles. And here they are. Get it up to the camera. Maybe you can see the blunt tips on them. That go very easily through the holes that are pre-punched. Okay. And I've also got the lace ready to go, already through the eyes of the needle, okay, with a pullback. This is one piece of lace with the needles on both ends and pushed through the eyes, or inserted through the eyes, and ready to go. You're going to want to, again, just like on the butt cover, you're going to want to slip it through and get it even to start. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pry open, pull back, whatever language you want to use, to get this knot or tie a little undone, just to show you what's under it. Because these materials grab on to itself and get very tight. Okay, now I've got it loose with my fingernails. Okay, so let's get it undone right here. Okay, I'm taking it down right like that, and there it is, just to set it back. Okay. You can see all of this. Okay. The very first stitch that you're going to make here is going to be not a stitch, but the start. The start is the best way to say it, is to run this material, this wax lace, through the trigger guard, okay, and make sure that it's even on both ends as you start. It's a little awkward, hard to show, so I'm explaining it. You are going to come up from underneath the inside of this piece of material, and there it is, okay, okay, and you're going to fold it over, push it underneath, fold it back over, get your lace through the holes, okay, and snug up the first stitch, okay, and then you're going to be pulling, pushing, gathering this around. It will do it as you handle it, and squeeze it up onto the underside of your lever with the lacing facing downward, okay, and let's get it facing downward just like it's on your rifle, facing downward. Okay. So then this finishing knot, okay, comes through here, okay, like this. Okay. Then you're going to gather it up, okay, and I think I'm going to have to point the camera down. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I reset the shot a little bit. Okay, so there is the tie coming around, and then this one comes underneath, just like that. This one goes through here, that. Excuse me, this one, I don't have it set yet. So this one comes up and under here, just like that. So I've already cut the excess off of this one and I'm putting it back on, so I don't have the extra length to work with, but there it is. Okay, so now you can see, okay, how I have it. It's not tight yet, but it's going around. Okay. So get it to where it covers up that first lacing. Okay, you can push it, pull it, get it to where it needs to go. Okay, and keep pulling on it like that. Okay, and it will cover up the wax lace. Stay in the shot. You can see what I'm doing here. Get it to cover it up. Okay. And also provides for a better way for your hand to hit it and give you a cushion from staying in the shot to do it. And there it is, right there. Just like that. There you go. Okay. So work with it. Watch, look at the pictures, look at the video, cover it up. There you go. There's your lever wrap. Same thing. This is also called the baseball stitch, okay, where you're lacing under and over, under and over, under and over, always pulling it tight. Don't use the pliers, use your fingers, work it through, okay, to get it to where it needs to go. At the end you're going to tie another square knot, cut off the excess, and you can hit this stuff will melt to some degree because it has wax in it, and you can tie off a couple of knots if you have some extra and you want to tuck it underneath. If you've got tools like this at home in your shop, you can poke and push a piece that's hanging out underneath, or you can melt it, okay, and it will work its way down. So there's how to put on a lever wrap. Okay. And how it looks. Okay. Alright. So, thanks for watching. From Raleigh, North Carolina, this is Bob. Call me. Everything you need to know about how to order a lever wrap kit. Okay, or to get a butt cover made for your rifle is there. These lever wrap kits go on 1873s, 86s, 92s, 94s, and Marlin 336s. And I also have them for, this is a shorter and slightly more narrow lever wrap piece for your Marlin 39A and Henry's too, as long as they have the same proportion size levers, which they do. Okay, okay, there's the kit for the 22s. Okay, and the instructions are the same. Okay. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and look at the end titles for how to get a hold of me. Okay, bye-bye for now. And Merry Christmas 2014. Bye-bye.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to the behind the scenes video of Ringo. And if you don't know what Ringo is, well, it's a short film that I made and released here on my channel on YouTube. If you haven't seen Ringo and you want to do so before watching this, you can click on this thumbnail just here. Ringo is the story of Sam, a man in his early 30s and a recent new father, who, after hearing about the death of his estranged stepfather, has to return back to his hometown 16 years after running away to settle his stepfather's estate. On Sam's return, he is reunited with his long-lost imaginary childhood friend called Ringo, who in Sam's long absence has fallen a little bit off the rails. The film focuses on Sam and Ringo reconciling their relationship and coming to terms with the next phases of their lives. In this behind the scenes video, what I wanted to do was just show you guys a little bit of the reasons why we made Ringo, as well as show you some of the processes that took place in pre-production, production, and post-production. So let's crack on and talk about pre-production. The idea of Ringo just popped into my head. I like the idea of an adult man getting back in touch with his imaginary childhood friend. First things I did was I wrote a vomit draft of the script, which is basically where I got everything down on paper and then sent it out to a few people to see what they thought of the initial concept. Once I got initial feedback, I then refined the script to sort of like second, third draft. I then sent it out to my first choice actors to see if they'd be interested. And luckily for me, they both said yes. So Danny Easton played the part of Sam and Sam Swan played the part of Ringo. So I was over the moon that those guys wanted to be part of the film, because really I kind of wrote the script with those guys in mind. Once Danny and Sam were on board, we then started a 4-week rehearsal process, which was started off less as a rehearsal process, but actually more of a writing process. We sat down, the three of us, discussed the ideas, the themes, the narrative, the structure, everything about the film at length. After each session, I would then go away and rewrite the script accordingly with their feedback. 10 drafts we got to, which was the script we worked with to film. Luckily as well, I got my first choice director of photography, Edgar Dabrowski, who I'd worked with a few times, who agreed to do the film with me, and that was it. We kind of just started crewing up, and we got our hands on an amazing collection of people to help bring the idea and the script to life. So I was very thankful to get a really great crew on board for this one. In terms of locations for the film, well, the idea of Ringo, everything was pictured in my head of basically being in the places where I grew up as a child. Therefore, besides the stuff in the flat in London where I'm standing now, everything else was filmed in my hometown of Leicester. So most of the locations in the film are actually places that are from my childhood. For example, the stepfather's house is my granddad's house. The woods they play in is just up the road from my house, as well as the train tracks is in my local village where I used to walk as a child. So all the locations I knew quite clearly because I wrote the film around those already pre-existing locations in my head. One of the final processes of pre-production was deciding what camera to use for the shoot. We decided that we wanted to go with the Sony A7S. One thing I'm quite passionate about is DSLR videography is the fact that how lightweight you can go now. You don't need huge bulking cameras, 4K cameras. You can do a lot with DSLR cameras. So with the Sony A7S, we had a really lightweight camera with a full-frame sensor inside, which also had the ability to shoot in incredibly low light conditions. Shooting in the middle of winter, we didn't have a lot of daylight, so we thought, well, we have a camera that you can really crank up the ISO. It allows us more time. And that led us on to think, well, what if we made the entire film without using a single light? And we decided that for the sake of the budget, as well as time, as well as the visual aesthetics of the film, we decided not to. So this entire film was made not using a single light, and I was blown away with kind of the final products of the film, and something I'm very proud of that we achieved, because it just looks really cool, for bearing in mind we didn't use one single sort of stage studio light. We used lamps and practical lights that are in the sets and stuff, but for the most part it was just the daylight and what we could find around. So with everything in place in pre-production, we then moved in to production. We started filming Ringo on the 12th of December, and it was a 5-day shoot. The first day we spent in London, where we filmed all of the stuff in Sam and Laura's apartment, which is where I'm standing right now. And for the remaining 4 days, we filmed up in the Midlands in Leicestershire. In terms of the production, it went very well. The shoot went extremely smoothly. We didn't have any major disasters or hiccups. We had a lot of time in the filming process. Once again, having no lights and having a lightweight crew meant logistically, we freed up a lot of time to spend more time on the storytelling, actually, practicing the scenes and getting the action right and getting the actors' performances just right.
Why do you always do?
Yeah.
Why do you use through the window?
You know there's a door.
You are the most clumsy person I know. Why do you use the window?
And Danny, when your entrance, far more panicked.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how quick to walk.
I think we're do a hammy 50%. Keep your eyes like kind of on the ground or like looking over that way, and you probably not really notice it, because it is a little bit like you don't really notice it at the minute.
Last scene, eh?
Last scene, if we can get it. Right now we've got no permissions. We are running high risk. But hey, no one said the revolution was A, going to be easy, B, was going to be full of permissions. It's gone exceedingly well, to be honest with you. We had the one problem at the train tracks, and that was pretty much it for the whole shoot. We've not had any nightmares. It's turned out exactly the way I wanted. It makes me actually believe in this kind of filmmaking, how easy it's been. Yeah, we've not used any lights, but I just think generally having such a small crew and being flexible has allowed us to tell a better story. By having such a smooth shoot, it meant that we freed up a lot of time and ultimately have a little bit more fun. It's in here. It must be in here. It's locked. This is the secret door. I found it, Papa.
I mean, every spice pirate.
Go from there. Keep rolling.
Every spice. A piggy's back. Is that what you call it here? Fine, yeah.
Actually, the camera forgot to close down.
You want it back? Okay.
Okay, have you looked in the fruit bowl?
As you want for the children of the revolution, know you are.
That's Danny in the background beatboxing.
Wow.
How is the shoot going?
It's going well. If we nail today, then we've got it. But yes, 4 good days so far. Loads of wet willies. What's that? Rolling. Okay, we've got enough B-roll now. Okay,
Enough of
here we
this.
go. Once we wrapped Ringo, I then went straight into the post-production process. I edited the film myself over the course of 2.5 weeks. Once I got the film to a place where I was really happy, I then showed it to 3 separate tester audiences. These were people who didn't work on the film, didn't know anything about the storyline, and could offer neutral, unbiased feedback to the film. With their notes, I then found common threads to what their feedback was and was able to make minor changes and tweaks to the story and the structure and the editing timeline to get the film much tighter and to a place where I was really happy after someone had seen it besides myself. So once the film was picture locked, I then handed it over to 4 separate individuals, all of whom could work on their film in their own department at the same time to save time. We had someone working on VFX, sound design, music, and obviously the grade of the film. After about 4 weeks, all of these separate elements were then completed, and I was able to take them and put them back on the timeline and get the film basically completed. I then added the credits to the film, I cut a trailer, and then the film was ready for release. I released the film on the 27th of February at 3 PM UK time on YouTube. A lot of people have asked why we released Ringo on YouTube and not submitted it to film festivals. I guess the answer to that is really, with Ringo, what I wanted to do was demonstrate the power of YouTube and online video. You see, for me, I passionately believe in online video being a way of challenging the old way of the media industry. We made Ringo for $2,500 with a lightweight crew, a very talented lightweight crew and cast, with lightweight gear. We created a 27-minute short film and released it instantly online with the potential of global distribution. No longer do we need to go down the traditional elitist routes of begging for funding, going through production companies to get scripts approved, to get rewritten, to be then shown at a time on a TV station with adverts alongside it. YouTube can eliminate all that quite easily. Yes, there's still advertisement, but not in the same way that you have on traditional media. YouTube, I think, also is in this kind of state of flux at the moment. The most popular YouTube stuff is stuff that's aimed primarily at a younger audience, the under sort of 17-year-old market, which is fine. I've got no problem with that, and it's made YouTube what it is today. However, I still feel that YouTube shouldn't be synonymous with that kind of content. With Ringo and the other short films and other filmmakers who are out there on YouTube land, is evolving the platform to go to a further place, to show the world that actually YouTube can be the home for all kinds of content, whether it's short films or makeup tutorials or funny cat videos, but also, political documentaries or cookery shows or anything out there. It really has that power to sort of revolutionize the way we consume content, and really kind of get the traditional media to pay attention to. So that's why I released Ringo on YouTube, was to really make a case that we are living in changing times, and YouTube can be the home for content, for short films and potentially feature films as well, that hasn't gone through the traditional media route. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. That's the rant over. I thank everyone out there who has watched Ringo. It seems like it's been well received, and ultimately it's you guys out there that I'm sharing it with, primarily you guys who have subscribed to this channel. So thank you very much for watching it. Tweet me if you have any questions about Ringo, at Jack vs Life, and you can follow me on Instagram as well, at Jack vs Life. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, peace out, stay frosty, love you all.